Hey guys, my name is Ralph Suleiman. Welcome back to the channel. I started wholesaling back in 2020 when I got laid off my job. I had no money. I literally had more credit card debt than I had cash in my bank account. So it was super stressful. I realized that I wanted to go all in wholesaling, and I did that, and thank God I really did, because that has paid off tremendously. So I went from spending zero money a month back then in the beginning to then at one point I was spending $10,000 a month to now I have decided to find a different medium where I feel very comfortable that this is a good place for me to be. So I've done all of it. I've done all the stages of different wholesaling. Obviously there's wholesalers that spend $100,000, but most of the time they're not watching these videos and it's not really pertaining to them. However, you can make a lot of money if you're spending $5,000 to $10,000 a month of wholesaling. But before we jump into any of that, let's talk about every single stage of real estate wholesaling. All right, here's me. I got laid off from my job. I have zero money to invest into real estate wholesaling. However, I do want to make the money, right? So what are the ways I can make the money? Well, one of the best ways to do it, right, it's driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is a super good way to start looking for deals, right? Because you'll be driving for dollars, you'll be cold calling these people, and then eventually you're gonna try to sell the deals. The cool thing is that at this stage, you're not invested into any software, so you're really just getting out there, looking at these properties, cold calling these properties, cold texting these properties, doing everything yourself. I believe this stage is crucial for a lot of wholesalers, because if you don't learn this, you may not perform as well on next stages. And the reason why I say this is that if you don't do this right, and if you don't understand what it takes to cold call, what it takes to cold text, what it takes to determine if the seller is motivated and all that stuff, then you cannot eventually get to a point where you're gonna be able to hire more people and run it as a company. You'll be using free skip tracing services, white pages, or whatever like that. You'll be using Google Voice to call or text these people. You'll be sending contracts to sellers with like just regular PDF to their email, and they will sign it, send it back to you. And then also you'll be finding buyers on Facebook, because that's your best way to find buyers if you don't have any money to invest in this. The problem is with Facebook, you're gonna be finding a lot of other wholesalers, so it's really not gonna be most of the time end buyers, but you can still JV with other people, because that's a good way to start as well. This stage is messy, it's a lot of grind, but it's a great learning stage. All right, let's talk about stage number 2. Let's say you close a couple of deals. What should you be striving for at stage number 2? So let's say you're spending $1,000 a month for real estate wholesaling. At this stage, you should be pulling lists and start to kind of scale the skip tracing part, the cold calling part, and things like that. Instead of just driving for dollars, you're gonna start using PropStream. Instead of cold calling with Google Voice, you're actually gonna get yourself a dialer. Then you're gonna call many people at the same time. Instead of skip tracing one by one with white pages, you're actually gonna skip trace using like a cheap service. So for example, Kind skip tracing is not my favorite, but for the pricing that they provide, it's pretty solid, especially when you're starting off. I don't suggest starting to text at this stage yet. I believe that if you want to, you should cold call using a dialer. I suggest Cold Tools or a Smarter Contact dialer. The only problem with Smarter Contact, I don't believe you can just get a dialer, you have to have the texting. So in this stage, probably Cold Tools might be the best option for you. Before we move forward, guys, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That really does help. A lot of time and effort goes into this video, so I really hope you guys do appreciate it. All right, let's get back to it. All right, stage number 3, which I think, in my opinion, where the stage where a lot of wholesalers get to and they feel comfortable in this stage. A lot of people don't expect past this stage, but I think that this stage is a good stage, and it's spending $5,000 a month. After you close maybe 10 to 15 deals, maybe a little more, you feel like you know this business, that you can keep expanding. So at this point, you need to start operating this business more as a business instead of just as a self-employed person. So here's what you would be doing at this stage if you're spending $5,000 a month. You're gonna be doing texting and cold calling, maybe both, but potentially you'll be investing a lot of money and time into one of them. I suggest texting, because I think texting is a better way to expand your business. So you'll be spending like $100 a month for PropStream, like $150, $120, $150 a month for Cold Tools, and a solid $800 a month for Smarter Contact, which is gonna cover you texting a lot of people. You'll be skip tracing using good service this time. You're not using Kind anymore, you're scaling, and you do understand the value of better leads. So at this point, you're probably gonna be using Skip Matrix. The Skip Matrix is a lot better than like Kind, but it is more expensive. And the big thing on this stage is that you're actually gonna be hiring VAs. I think hiring VAs is where you're gonna scale. I don't believe you should do it too early because you do wanna learn the business. You want to understand the business fully before you can hire someone. Because I've hired people before that if I didn't know what it takes or what the KPIs should be when you're cold calling someone, I would have thought that they're doing a great job, but they were not doing a great job, right? So I recognized right away and had to either fire them or train them or whatever I had to do in that moment. Here's the cool thing, guys. If you want to use any of the softwares I mentioned in this video, I have a promo code or link to that software down below in the pinned comment to each single one of them. Cold Tools, you get 80% off your sign up fee. PropStream, you get 7 days free. Smarter Content, you get $200 off any of the plans. It's awesome. One time $200 off if you use the promo code Ralph in the link down below. And even skip tracing, you get 1 cent off skip matrix per trace lifetime. So it's awesome. Instead of paying 15 cents, you're paying 14 cents. So that can hopefully help you to start scaling some of these things earlier than $5,000 a month, right? Maybe you're making 3 to 4 and you want to start scaling. Might be a good point to use these promo codes in order to get yourself a better discount, and it supports the channel, so I really do appreciate that if you use it. All right, so $10,000 a month. I was at this point at one point, and I'll tell you which point I'm at right now. $10,000 a month, I had 5 VAs running the business. I had texting, cold calling, I had a managing VA that would manage the other ones. She would run comps, she would do other stuff. I had a system that would actually get a hold of the buyers, so we had to pull those lists. So it was tons of marketing, tons of marketing. If you talk to other wholesalers at $10,000 a month, a lot of times these wholesalers are not doing this alone because it becomes a lot. So a lot of times you have wholesalers that like team up with someone else, they have a business partner and they do this together. So $10,000 a month spending for yourself can be tough to manage. But at this point, you're probably skip tracing over 20,000 properties a month. Which is spending about $3,000 a month just on skip tracing. You're spending about $2,000 on cold calling, cold texting, and obviously each VA costs you about $700 a month or more. So, you know, you have 5 of them, that's $3,500. You know, you still got your PropStream, you still got your other softwares. Now you probably can get like a software for your phone called Open Phone. I suggest using that if you would like. So I believe that this stage is absolutely awesome. At this stage, you can probably be making over $500,000 a year gross easily. At $5,000 a month, you could be making about $200,000 to $250,000 a year possibly. Here's the problem, right? At $10,000 stage, if you don't have anyone that you're doing this business with, this is all you're gonna be doing. So at one point I was at this stage, and what I decided to do, I decided to scale back and I actually started investing. I didn't have a business partner that could do this with me. As you guys know, my girlfriend Carmen, she does this with me, but she also has a full-time job, and because of that, she can't full-time help me with my business. So she kind of takes care of her things and I take care of the business. But we did decide that while wholesaling is awesome, and I love wholesaling, I believe that wholesaling is a stepping stone into the real estate game. I believe that if wholesaling is an active income, if you use that active income to invest into passive income, that is the true freedom. So that's what I did. I scaled back my wholesaling business to give myself a little bit more time. Yes, it was less money, but it was more time so I can start looking for deals and buy my own rental properties. At this point, we own 25 doors. So we have scaled this over the last almost 3 years. And in this scale, we'll buy 2 to 3 properties every year. They're like 2 to 5 unit properties and not even single family homes. So therefore it takes a lot of work to find them, have a good bird deal, handle all of that. So the reason why I say this is that $10,000 a month is something really good to strive for when it comes to how much you want to spend and invest and make $500,000 a year. The problem is when you get to that point, unless you want to stay there forever, it's really hard to scale unless you have a partner. So I hope this kind of clarifies what stages people are. I believe that wholesaling is made to be like either it's super cheap or it's super expensive. I believe there's a stage for everything. So I think that this video should clarify a lot of these things, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.